Hey YouTube, Joseph here, and we are getting ready to talk about Fluffals. I didn't want to do this deck profile, but I promised to do this deck profile when I did the archetype analysis. It's one of those decks that people run when they just, this deck's bad. I can't defend it. I want to defend it, but I can't. Like many other multiple archetypes in this game, Konami threw a dagger at us and said, we're going to give you another fusion-oriented archetype, and then it got shafted. I mean, the concept of the deck is really good. You know, go for your fusion monsters, you get you some big beaters on board, and then start swinging. But that's all they do. And they don't really have any protection for themselves. I know there are multiple variants of these decks. There's the Christia Fluffal version. There's the Hero Fluffal version. There's the Fluffal Zombie. I mean, there's a list. But this version is pretty much going to be generically based on the aspect of Fusion Summon and pretty much fleshing out the Agent Scissors so that you can get to the Fusion Summon. So, we'll just quickly go into the deck profile. 3 Agent Scissors. This is pretty much your key card of the Fusion deck. You want to make sure this card is either in the graveyard, in hand, on our board. You can touch something through its own effect by sending the top card of your deck to the graveyard. So, as a plague effect, sending a card to the top of the deck to touch summon itself. But you only do that once a turn. Which is the backside to it. It is level 3 Fiend, so you can do stuff with this lady right here to get it out. Tour Guide is pretty much in here. Like I said, she's here to flesh out the agents so that they can be on board or engrave. She helps you go into your rank 3s so you can pretty much protect yourself in that aspect as well. King of the Swamp is making his appearance in this deck. Simply because the fusion monsters require, outside of Fluffal Bear, the other monsters still need Agent Scissors. So King of the Swamp is here to replace the Agent Scissors that you probably are either searching for or trying to get into grave to be active. So that's where King of the Swamp comes in. Not to mention, King of the Swamp can get your polymerization cards from your deck. Next to the Fluffal archetype monsters themselves, we have triple Fluffal Dog. This is pretty much the Stratos. When normal or special, he can search your deck for a Fluffal monster or a Agent Scissors and add it to hand. But he cannot search for himself. Owl, for the cost of 500, for the payment of 500 life points, you can pretty much fusion summon with monsters from your hand or field to make a Fluffal fusion monster. When this card is normal, summon, or special, you can add polymerization from your deck to your hand. 2 Frightfur, 2 Fluffal Bear. Fluffal Bear pretty much goes get Toy Vendor. You can send it when you send this card from your hand to the graveyard. When you can tribute this card to add 1 polymerization in your graveyard to your hand. Fluffal Cat retrieves polymerization when it's used as a fusion material. And Fluffal Rabbit, when it's used as fusion material, can add 1 Fluffal monster or 1 Agent Scissors from your graveyard to your hand. So that's the monsters. Pretty useful monsters, I have to say, when they can retrieve either the polymerization or the Fluffal or Agent themselves. But I feel this deck just needs more power. It's actually really good. I think it needs more spells and traps. That's just my opinion. We have, for spells, Toy Vendor, which is probably why I said they need more spell and trap support. Draw a card, reveal it. If it isn't a Fluffal card, if it isn't a Fluffal monster, discard that card. When this card is sent from field, when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Agent Scissors or one Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand. So in a way, this is a combination between... It's supposed to be a good draw card, but it backfires on you if you don't get the Fluffal. If you do happen to get, let's say another toy vendor or an adjunct, you're pretty much just doing yourself a favor because you get to search off of it, or you can set up for your adjunct. Or if your adjunct's in the graveyard, it can set up to make the toy pot live, which is practically all that it's used for. And I feel it could be a lot better in terms of just its effect. I don't think the effect is bad. I just think the archetype just needs more support in terms of monster, spell, and trap in circulation of all. Because when you look at a deck like this, you're like, it's not like Shadows where they can just run into each other and get stuff. And with this, it's you're forced to poly in order to do something relevant. But if you can't poly, this vendor is supposed to help you do that, but it backfires a lot. Especially when you don't draw the cards you need. Polymerization, pretty much your only means of getting your monsters out. Otherwise, you're using Owl, who's on board. And this card is pretty much searched by almost every Fluffal monster below level 4, practically. Triple MST, 1 Snatch Steel, Raigeki, Dark Hole, and Foolish Burial. The Foolish is here to help in assistance to get the Adjunct Scissors from the deck to the graveyard so that it can be live. Also helps in that aspect to set up for the toy vendor. There's not that many traps in this deck because I didn't want to focus on it too much. But it's 2 Wiretap, 1 Warning, 1 Bribe, 1 Fiendish, 1 Bottomless, and 1 Compulse. If anyone is wondering, yeah, I just randomly put this deck together because I thought it wasn't fair that I didn't do a video for it. Extra deck. Alright, what's off with one of the highest attack monsters that they have. In the TCG, we only have 2 fusions. In the LCG, they have 3. We have Frightfur Bear, who can easily be summoned if you ditch a bear, a Fluffal Bear, and an Adjunct Scissors. When it destroys a monster, an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you equip that monster to this card as an equipped spell with this effect. Gain 1,000 life. Pretty much you're beating into your opponent's monsters, equipping them to yourself, and then you gain 1,000 for each one. I feel like this effect is, if it can't swing multiple times, this effect is kind of useless. It's technically useless. I mean, you can swing into a monster and become a 3,200 attacker, but then what if you run into something that would probably backfire on you, and that would technically be real bad. This is one of the Frightfur monsters that you can use King of the Swamp on, because one of its fusion materials is an actual monster name. You can't use it, unfortunately, on this guy unless you're doing it for the Adjunct Scissors. Let me get him on the screen. This is Frightfur Wolf, the second of the 3 fusion monsters. Frightfur Wolf cannot be special summoned except for fusion summon. When this card, for the number of monsters used for his fusion summon, he can attack that many times. As far as I know, this does not include Adjunct Scissors. This includes the monsters that were used, such as the Fluffals. He technically takes any number of Fluffal monsters for his fusion summon, in addition to the Edge Imp. I feel in a way these 2 monsters should have had a combination monster that used both for their effects. They attack multiple times and then absorb monsters into itself. And then probably have the same Chimera effect where like you can't attack your opponent directly if they don't have any, can't attack your opponent unless they have monsters. But I think that would have been a fair trade-off. But these fusion monsters don't have any real backbone to them except for their lackluster effect. And not to mention they have really low stats. Bear having 22 attack, Wolf having 2k. It doesn't really help. And in the LCG they have Frightfur Tiger. And he only has 1900. The only benefit you get from him is for each monster that you use as material, he blows up that many cards on your opponent's side of the field. And that can tend to backfire because they don't have anything. So, yeah, that's pretty much the Fluffal archetype, I guess. As far as it goes with the exceeds that are running here, 2 downer, because I have 23s that I've slapped in here. 1 Maestroke for her defense. Dire Wolf, pop stuff. Cowboy for the burn. Alucard for the pop. Levier for the retrieval. In case anyone get banished. Highly doubt it, but you never know. Tempo to deal with other exceed monsters. Fortune Tune also as a help out to retrieve the edge imps and the tour guides if they're in the graveyard. He gets sent to the graveyard. And 1 Ragnar 0, she's seeing a lot of play now because there's a lot of cards like the Quill Off, like the straight attack power. So, yeah. Just pretty much, this is the deck profile, guys. Sorry if it's a little lackluster. I really didn't want to do this, but I didn't think it was fair to cheat them out of this. So, like I always say in my videos, like, comment, subscribe, and that's it for now. Before I go, I just want to let everybody know that in a few days I will be doing the anniversary video for this channel. So if you guys have, I already posted it on the page. If you guys have any comments and stuff like that, please leave them. And hopefully I will be able to read them online. So thanks guys, and I'll see you then.